Yeah, this is a a complex question. There's no one answer to it, right? Uh, for example, uh, people have spoken about. So one is the work environment must be an environment where people love coming to work. I'm very clear that, and I tell this very openly to colleagues, that for whatever reason, if you do not love coming to work, if in the morning you feel I have to be dragged out and put in a whatever, my vehicle or train, wherever, whatever mode of transportation you use, then I think you must seriously question that, am I at the right place, or should I be doing a job? Maybe I'm meant for something else, doing something on my own. Maybe my hobby is something different, maybe my calling is something different, and maybe it's not apparent, maybe it's not evident, but you must make an effort to find that out, because how long can you keep dragging yourself to work, right? So I think what is important is that people, and if you find people in that frame of mind, through whichever may you discover, then you must, whether as a manager or whether as a colleague, you must kind of help that colleague of yours kind of find what the reason is. But if you love coming to work, then that itself will make a difference. For example, if there's something urgent at work, and employees have to, or set of people have to kind of work late in the evening. If it's about something that I love, then they'll not find that extra 3-4 hours at work to be stressful. It might be physically, you may have not slept, but mentally you will not feel stressed out, because you're loving what you're doing, right? It's like your own, that I'm contributing, I'm doing something which I think will make an impact. But whereas if you are in that frame that I'm having to come and you're waiting for that 6 o'clock to happen, or whatever the time is, and you're asked that 7 o'clock, oh my God. I think that is the important point. Everything else, even if you're physically fit, even if you're mentally aware, in the best frame, it will make a difference. Because, so in the order of priority, I will say first address that issue. That are you able to make people, and today's generation, they try to connect, and they find purpose, meaning at work, right? I know it is a very esoteric word. I don't know how to define it. Different people have their own definition. Again, I can give you an example. So my son, eldest son, he's done computer science, and he's in US. And when, I remember when he was in college and he was in India, he said, Dad, you are a CEO and you're working till 7 o'clock in the evening, and what's the point of doing a job that even when you become a CEO after 30 years and you're still working so late? And I don't think so I'll be able to work beyond 5 o'clock ever. So I said, okay, I'm sure if you're saying so, there must be a reason. And I remember when he started working, sometimes he'll call in the evening, and let's say it's 7:30, and I'll ask him, what are you doing? So he'll first time he said, I'm just working. I didn't say anything. 2-3 days later, I called him, again we are having a chat, and what are you doing? I was just closing some work and all. So I say, oh, interesting, 7 o'clock. So he understood. So I said, what happened to your 9 to 5 thing? Why was he doing that? Because he enjoyed the work. So it's not, whereas, I'm not saying that you have to work 7 every day. You must take your break. You must, like at work, we encourage people to take breaks. In fact, we now have mandatory leaves. You're not allowed to do any work during your mandate leaves, etc., because you must take break from work, right? From many years, the first thing that I do in January is ask all my direct reports, what's your leave plan for the year? You must take break from work. But there will be a period when you will have to, because there are very different views on work-life balance. I think it is important and you must do. The only difference is work is also life. So the way you define, I don't agree with this definition of work and life as if they are two distinct. Work is a very integral part of your life. But you must find time for every parts of your life, whether it's work, whether it's home, whether it's yourself, whether it's your family. That is important. So I call that as a balance rather than saying work life. So, but you must give time to everything that is important to you. is what I'll say.